a bit of sympathy for their candidate. I think he's a decent guy, and I think, in other circumstances, you've got three people basically fighting it out, and two of them, there's a wee bit of political opportunism. Katie Loudon's been jettisoned in from elsewhere to sit in this seat because she's obviously earmarked to somebody for the future. I think we can all safely say that Ross Lambie wouldn't be standing as a Reform candidate if Reform were polling at 5%. He wouldn't have defected. Whereas I think Davy Russell is kind of in it for the right reasons, and I've got a bit of sympathy for him. But he's been completely hamstrung by events elsewhere, and the fact that his own party seems scared to put him up against anyone. And it's such a terrible look.
Do you know? Do you know what I think about Davy Russell? Right. I think that because I've now spoken to him a couple of times, and I think that as a sort of, regular member of the public, regular guy from that area, he probably would appeal to quite a lot of people. He's got decent opinions on things, and he might not be the most sort of eloquently spoken. He might get his words jumbled up sometimes. He might say something silly, but actually that's being a normal human being. And I almost think, looking at it, that Labour's taken this guy who's just a regular Joe Blogs and tried to sort of polish him up and tried to almost train him in how to be a politician, when actually they should have just said, you know what, just go out there, do your best. If maybe show him ways to kind of laugh off the mistakes in a way that seems more authentic to him. But instead it just comes across quite robotic, these lines that he's trotting out, and I feel like he's not actually been allowed to just be himself, unless he is a total basket case, in which case, maybe he shouldn't be the candidate. But I almost feel like Labour's trying to cover up the fact that he's just a regular bloke.
He's not helped by the fact that it's a by-election and there's so much focus on this one seat, where this a Scottish election and Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse was just one of 70 odd seats, that there wouldn't be this focus on him, and I don't think that would matter that much. And you might find that he would probably be a lot more popular in that kind of situation, but because there's this national spotlight on him, all these issues,
a bit of a baptism of fire.
Absolutely, maybe. But his problem now is, if he was to stand next year, I don't know if he will. You guys are maybe get better insight than me on that, but he's now already kind of tarred with this brush.
You've been like some sort of bumbling.
And I kind of feel for him a bit.
I feel like with David, you're right. He's a nice man, and I think if he was an MSP, he'd be good at sorting out voters' problems, particularly with the local council, because that's where his background is. But in a by-election, you need more than being a nice man. You have to be able to do media and things like debates. I guess the issue for Labour is if they do lose this by-election, let's face it, the quality of the candidate probably hasn't helped, but that's not been the game changer for Labour. The issue has been the performance of the Labour government. Things like winter fuel, WASPy, and this general sense of disappointment that people voted for change and they don't feel like change has happened.
So it might have happened, but it's for the worst.
Yes, change that you can't believe in. And I think that if Labour lose, I think you're going to see a blame game. I'm sort of picking that up already. I think the UK party will probably focus on the quality of the candidate, and the Scottish party will probably focus on the performance of the UK Labour government. But Labour remain upbeat. It might be total BS, but they say that their data is good and they're confident that it's still a two-horse race between themselves and the SNP.